Welcome to Buzz Breakdown, the show where we kind of take those internet rabbit holes you've been meaning to explore, and we do all the digging for you. I'm your host, Robert Price.
And I'm Samantha Peterson. I'm here to help sort through all that and help you separate the mind-blowing facts from the, just plain-blown smoke.
That's right, and today we're diving deep into a viral image that's got everyone talking, Joe Rogan.
Of course. Who doesn't?
Well, he recently shared a photo of a square-shaped formation on Mars, and let's just say his reaction was a little more enthusiastic than his usual. That's interesting.
Yeah, his exact words were, "This is fing wild."
So naturally, people kind of lost their minds. Is this proof of ancient Martian architects? Do they have a thing for right angles?
Exactly. And before you spiral down a Twitter thread black hole, we're here to break it down. First off, let's talk about where this image actually came from.
Okay, sounds good.
So it wasn't taken on some top secret mission to Mars. It's actually from NASA's Mars Global Surveyor probe, which captured the image way back in 2001. And get this, it's publicly available on Arizona State University's Mars Image Explorer. Anyone can go check it out.
2001. That's ancient history in internet time. So why the sudden buzz now, besides Joe Rogan's colorful commentary?
Well, let's be honest. Joe Rogan has a pretty big online megaphone. When he gets excited about something, people pay attention. And this image, it does look kind of wild. There you have it, this seemingly perfect square just sitting there in a Martian crater.
Yeah, I can see why some are jumping straight to aliens built it. It's almost too perfect, right? Like, how could nature create something so geometrically precise?
That's where things get tricky. We humans, we love to see patterns even where they don't exist. It's called pareidolia. But here's the thing, nature can be surprisingly good at geometry too.
Okay, I'll bite. Give me an example. Convince me that Mother Nature has a secret protractor stash.
Right. Picture this perfectly square and rectangular rock formations along a beautiful coastline. Not on Mars, they're right here on Earth in Tasmania, Australia. These are called the tessellated pavements of Eaglehawk Neck, and they were formed by natural geological processes over millions of years. No ancient civilizations required.
Wait, so you're saying those perfectly straight lines and right angles happen naturally?
Yep. It's a reminder that our earthly intuition about what looks natural might not apply on other planets.
Okay, that's a good point. But still, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where they discover ancient alien ruins on Mars. And haven't there been other weird images from Mars that got people talking about aliens?
You're right. There's a whole history of these Martian mysteries. Remember the face on Mars photo from back in the 70s?
Oh, yeah. That freaked people out. It really did look like a giant face staring back at us from the surface of Mars.
Right. But when we got better images from later missions, it turned out to just be a regular rock formation. Our brains just love finding familiar shapes, even in random patterns.
So you're saying we shouldn't get too carried away with the whole ancient Martian civilization idea just yet?
Exactly. We have to be careful not to jump to conclusions. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, as they say.
But hold on, what about Elon Musk? He's all in on Mars exploration. Didn't he even say something about wanting to send astronauts to investigate this square thing?
He did. Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, and Tesla is a huge advocate for Mars colonization. He tweeted about this image saying, "We should send astronauts to Mars to investigate."
So does that mean he believes it's an alien structure?
Not necessarily. Musk is known for his ambitious vision, and a potential archaeological site on Mars would definitely be a huge incentive for human exploration.
Okay, I get it. But let's be real, sending humans to Mars isn't exactly a walk in the park. We're talking about a completely different planet with a harsh environment and all sorts of dangers.
Exactly. The journey itself would take months, and astronauts would be exposed to high levels of radiation both during the trip and on the Martian surface.
And what about surviving on Mars once they get there? It's not like they can just pop down to the supermarket for groceries.
You're hitting on some of the biggest challenges. Mars has a thin atmosphere, mostly carbon dioxide, and the average temperature is a bone-chilling minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus, there's no liquid water on the surface, and the soil is toxic to humans.
So it sounds like a Martian vacation is off the table for now.
Well, not necessarily forever. There's this concept called terraforming, which involves modifying the planet's atmosphere and environment to make it more Earth-like.
Terraforming? That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It might sound far-fetched, but it's a serious topic of scientific discussion. One idea is to release greenhouse gases into the Martian atmosphere to trap heat and warm the planet. This could potentially melt the polar ice caps, releasing more water vapor and thickening the atmosphere.
But wouldn't that take like centuries to achieve?
It would be a long and complex process for sure.
Mm.
But some scientists believe that we could create localized habitable zones on Mars within a shorter time frame, perhaps even within a few decades.
Wow, that's mind-boggling. So maybe Elon Musk's vision of a human colony on Mars isn't so crazy after all.
It's definitely ambitious, but whether or not we achieve it in a lifetime, the pursuit of that goal is pushing the boundaries of science and technology in incredible ways.
This whole conversation has taken us from a simple square on Mars to a deep dive into the future of humanity. But before we get too lost in space, let's bring it back to the present. Is there anything else about this Martian mystery that we should be aware of?
Actually, there is. And it's something that could completely change our understanding of this whole story.
Okay, you really got me on the edge of my seat here. What could possibly change our understanding of this whole Mars mystery?
Remember how we talked about all those challenges of sending humans to Mars, all that radiation, the months-long journey, the surviving on a hostile planet thing?
Yeah, it sounded pretty daunting. Like something we might achieve eventually, but definitely not anytime soon.
Right. But what if there was already a way to get to Mars? A way that bypasses many of those challenges?
Hold on, are you about to go full sci-fi on me? Are we talking about wormholes, teleportation?
Not quite that out there. But it's a concept that's been explored in science fiction. Have you ever heard of generation ships?
Vaguely. Those giant spaceships that travel for generations, right? Like a little self-contained world hurtling through space.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a mind-blowing concept, but it's actually been seriously considered by scientists and engineers. Imagine a spacecraft large enough to support a whole community of people with everything they need to live and thrive for centuries.
Centuries. So you're saying people would be born, live, and die on this ship, with their descendants eventually reaching the destination. That's a whole different level of commitment.
It is. And of course, the technical challenges are enormous. We'd need to create a closed ecosystem that recycles resources, produces food, generates energy, and can sustain life for generations.
Yeah.
It's a monumental task.
No kidding. But let's say we could actually pull it off. What are the implications for this Mars mystery? Are you suggesting that the square structure could have been built by humans? Like descendants of a generation ship that arrived on Mars long ago?
It's a fascinating possibility, isn't it? Imagine a group of humans landing on Mars centuries or even millennia ago. They might have established a civilization, built structures, and left behind traces that we're only now beginning to uncover.
Wow, that would completely rewrite our understanding of Mars. It's like a whole secret history unfolding right before our eyes.
It is. And it reminds us that we should always be open to new possibilities and to questioning our assumptions.
So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in unraveling this mystery?
I think the most important thing is to keep exploring, keep researching, and keep asking questions. We need to examine the evidence from all angles and consider all possible explanations.
And maybe someday, if we're lucky, we'll get to send astronauts to Mars and see for ourselves what's really going on.
Until then, we can keep our curiosity alive and keep looking up at the stars, wondering what secrets they hold.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into this Martian mystery.
We hope you enjoyed the journey with us.
If you did, don't forget to subscribe to Buzz Breakdown. Share this episode with your friends and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, breaking down the facts and exploring the mysteries that capture the imagination of the internet.
Until then, stay curious.